an LED light, a quite unusual LED light from a pound shop. Not the usual suspects. It's not Poundland or One Below that used to be Pound World. This one is from an independent pound shop in Sauchiehall Street in Glasgow. And what caught my attention about this one is that it tries to emulate the old flashlights that had the fluorescent tubes on them. And if you recall the old fluorescent tube flashlights, they only put out a bit of light for roughly about 2 inches of the 4-inch tube, and the ends would blacken really quickly because of the way they drove them. In this case, when you turn this on, it's like intense. It is absolutely incredibly bright. It's also got a 1 watt LED, the look of it, down the end of the reflector here. And it puts out a decent whack of light. You know, even under the sort of studio lighting above here, it's doing quite a good job. And that's not with alkaline cells, that's with a set of nickel metal hydride cells. Things worthy of note. It takes AA's, that earns it lots of points. But anyway, let's take the batteries out and we'll take it to bits and see what's inside. So the control isn't a click on, click off, it's just simply 2 switches, mid position off, either way for the fake fluorescent tubes or the 1 watt LED. There's a little hanging loop on the end here, and that's more or less it. Let's get the back off, let's open it up and see what's inside. I will say that the current, I tested this in the bench power supply here. I tested the current and I thought it was quite high. It's more than you'd expect, 4.5 volts for a typical 1 watt LED for instance. And that possibly suggests they're really pushing LEDs quite hard. That might hint at a 1 ohm resistor or something like that, not really sure. I guess we'll find out once we open it up. I'll make a guess. 2 ohms. Not really sure. It's not a very high value anyway. Okay, that's the cover off. What am I seeing here? I'm seeing, there's the battery pack, there's the switch. I'm not seeing any resistors. There might be one on this module in here. This looks as though it's got a standard. It does have a standard 1 watt Luxian Star style LED. That's quite nice. And a pretty good reflector on it as well. No resistor. That'll be why it was bright. It's using no resistor at all. How do I get this out? To get this, I thought this might be a cob array under here, but I'm not convinced because it looks like a standard circuit board material. Do I have a screwdriver I can use to just push down those clips? I think this is how it comes out. Could be wrong. I shall find out by pressing down it and seeing that it shatters into millions of pieces. It is not really coming out. Oh, there it goes, there it goes. So the front comes off and reveals just standard LEDs and a circuit board in parallel. No resistor again. So that's pretty good. It's got 14 LEDs in there. That's quite a lot. Behind this really interesting reflector. How is this clipped in? Is it glued in or is it clipped on? Oh no, it's just trying to pop off right now. So I guess it's not glued in. Let's see if I can pop that out. There we go. It's just 2 little diffusers. That's quite a good effect. It actually seems to do quite well. The circuit board got this sort of groove down the side where it's designed to break off, but they've not broken it off in this instance. What's really odd here is that this solder resistor also stops before it reaches that. And that's more or less it. It's the 2-way switch. It's a 1 watt Luxian Star style LED, which is nice, and it's got this array of LEDs under those diffusers. I have to say it's pretty good. It's really impressive for what it is. Quite nice. So the shop I got that from, if you live in Glasgow in the UK, in Scotland, it is the one opposite McDonalds on Sauchiehall Street, and they've got them at the counter of the shop. They've got quite a few interesting devices in there. It's well worth a visit.